How do? God bless you all. I'm going to put that in at the start today on this beautiful winter's day. Tommy Robinson again, civil prisoner in high security Woodhill prison in solitary confinement. Now, if I was a good friend of Tommy's or a family member, yeah, I might not understand his situation, but let me tell you now, quite definitely, if he was in open conditions, category D prison, for me, the guy would be at risk. One, his attitude and how he puts things across is very divisive. People might want to have a pop just because of who he is. And we're not talking about third world culture, religion and the like, who quite definitely some of them, and they're everywhere, would want to have a pop. He's got no security, or would have none, in open conditions. I think he would be vulnerable. So what they're doing to him is wrong. We know now why. We know why he's so divisive. We also know about the establishment because of what has unfolded. Back to Cat D. One lad I know very well landed in Cat D after years in closed conditions. When he got there, he was at risk. He was at risk. In reception, he asked politely to be sent back to Strangeways, where I used to work. He explained his predicament. The staff laughed in his face. So he apologised and he pushed one of the staff over. He was restrained and he was sent back to closed conditions. There was a lad last year, a family member contacted me. The lad was not a major criminal. He had associates who were unapproachable. That lad was battered, unconscious, ended up in hospital from Cat D prison, open conditions. 3 lads walked into the establishment, because that's what you do, you don't escape, you abscond, there's no security fencing, and they battered him. It was hushed up. The governor of that establishment seen fit to put a lid on it. No evidence, no investigation. Cat D is dangerous. So why is Tommy Robinson so divisive? We now know, don't we? We've seen the establishment, politicians, MPs, vile creatures, vile and disgusting creatures, how they have performed the last 3 weeks. The disdain for the survivors of these grooming gangs is now very apparent. Labour MPs booing and jeering whilst the opposition and other MPs are talking about said topic. Jess Phillips screwing her face up and angry. We know why Tommy Robinson's so divisive. The establishment have hushed this up. Absolutely, from royalty downwards, high-ranking police and the like, probably retired now on the big fat pensions. Politicians sitting now. Politicians, our illustrious Prime Minister, who was head of the Crown Prosecution Service. It's a disgrace. Rather than go on a 4-letter rant, see you next Tuesday is an appropriate title for a lot of these people. I am disgusted. The vile creatures. Beyond vile. Seen more interviews. They're not interviews this week from victims and survivors speaking out. So that's why it's divisive, because it's been hidden away. People don't want to know. They don't want him. That's why he's at risk. is he not? Because of the topics he talks about. There's other people coming out now. There was a pretty Iranian girl, I've seen her before, talking about school. She went to school in a predominantly Muslim Pakistani school. She was bullied. She says, but from a young age, the young lads, Muslim lads, are taught to respect Muslim women and girls because they cover up. The white girls are trash. They're asking for it because of how they dress. That's our culture. That's our culture. Iran in the 70s, beaches, young lads and lasses, and older people in bikinis and trunks. Not anymore. It was their culture at one bit. Children and women are becoming more at risk every day, particularly in big towns and cities. Particularly in 50 or thereabouts towns and cities where these gangs have operated unchecked for years. It's a disgrace. Just looking at MPs in Parliament, the disdain I have. I was talking to a prison officer. I very much appreciate his opinions. He's very supportive of the things I have to say about prison on this channel. He said he would love to be locking the Prime Minister up on a landing. I said I'd fight you for the privilege. Then he talks about going in as a team to restrain him. Again, I'd fight him for the shield. First man in with a shield, hit him hard. Mid-chest, drop him. Vile, disgusting creatures. See you next Tuesday. All of them. Horrible, horrible bastards. Some of these interviews, it's a disgrace. And GB News, the only ones featuring it. Channel 4, worth a mention. About the faker, the last who cried wolf. They made that a big feature. All these men crying on there, on Channel 4, how their lives were ruined. Absolute me makes me sick to the pit of my stomach. I'm hoping something happens, me. I really am. And I don't mean violence. I do believe the people, victim survivors, need to be heard. They're crying out for it now, and the establishment is closing ranks. Like I said at the beginning, God bless you all. God bless all the survivors and victims. And let's not forget, some people, some of them kids, won't have made it to their ends of the teens. They'll be gone. Abuse, neglect. Sickening. Just going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for your continued support. Thanks for coming. God bless you all. Third time, and I do mean it. Al City.